Before we begin, I'd like to apologise if there's any rumbling or loud noise in the background of this video. I'm currently recording this in the middle of a storm, and this is the only chance I have to record it at the moment, so I apologise if that obviously lowers the quality of the audio. I'll do my best to fix it post-production. Koalas. Phascolactos cinereus. The face of a country, the face of its conservation, and one of the strangest, goofiest mammals to ever exist. Also, who remembers this show, because I was absolutely obsessed with it as a kid. Let's get this one out the way first. Koalas aren't a species of bear. They've only ever been labelled as koala bears purely because of their looks. Koalas are entirely different. They belong to an order called marsupials, or Diprotodontia, alongside kangaroos, wombats, and possums. These animals all give birth to underdeveloped young and raise them in a pouch. The most famous of this group is undoubtedly the kangaroo. Koala's habitat ranges throughout the eucalyptus forests of most of eastern and southeastern Australia. As of 2020, there is estimated to be anywhere between 150,000 to 600,000 koalas in the wild. They're extremely difficult to count due to the difficult geography of Australia and due to their solitary habits. Koalas live an average of about 20 years and can run, albeit only when needed, up to 20 miles per hour, which is honestly quite scary. A koala has very strange biology. They have terrible eyesight and mainly use their acute hearing and sense of smell to navigate the world. They have 6 opposable thumbs, 2 pairs on their front paws and 1 pair on their back paws. This enables them to climb trees and forage easily and efficiently, and also to scare 8-year-old me. Koalas also have very hard bums. Just hear this one out. Due to how long they sit on solid branches, they've evolved to have extra cartilage and thick fur on their behinds, so it's much more comfortable for them sitting there for 22 hours a day. Much less weird than it initially sounded. Koalas make very strange noises. They can make their voice much deeper than other mammals of their size. This is down to an extra set of vocal folds, and they use these deep growls to attract mates over long distances. When distressed, however, they go much higher pitched and have been compared to the sound of crying babies, which is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Koalas are herbivores and eat almost exclusively eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus is extremely low in calories and nutrition, which is why koalas sleep so much. Eucalyptus, for most animals, is extremely poisonous, but koalas simply don't care, so they evolved to be able to eat it. They have a special extra organ to help with this called the cecum, which enables them to digest the leaves quickly using fermentation, essentially breaking it down really fast. A lot of people find this humorous, but I actually think it's also very sad. Koalas suffer from chlamydia, with some populations having a 100% infection rate. Although it's not fatal, scientists are struggling to treat it due to how complex the koala's digestive system is. Certain antibiotics alter the gut and make it difficult and even dangerous for them to digest their primary food source. However, there have been recent advances with introducing vaccines and probiotics, which will help keep the bacteria in the guts consistent so the koalas can be treated, which is very, very cool. So now let's look at this marsupial thing a bit closer. Like I mentioned, koalas are marsupials, and marsupials are mammals that give birth to underdeveloped young and then raise them to maturity in a pouch on the mother. For koalas, the mother will usually birth 1 joey at a time, and it will be born about the size of a jelly bean, as well as blind, earless, and furless. This joey will stay in the pouch for up to 6 months, where it will mostly drink its mother's milk. Now for the gross part. At 6 months, the joey, alongside its usual milk, will also start eating something called pap. Now pap is a substance that will prepare its gut to allow it to digest eucalyptus in the future. And where does this pap come from? Its mother's behind. Unlike other marsupials, female koalas actually have a downward facing pouch, which is why the joey can reach to there. At 1 year old, the joey will be able to just eat leaves, which sounds much, much more appetising. Koalas, for the most part, are solitary, and males will attempt to mate with as many females as possible rather than pair up. Male koalas are pretty deadbeat fathers. Males are much bigger than females and are usually identified by the scent gland found on their chest. So where did koalas come from? How did we end up with these silly, weird little fluff balls? Well, it's largely believed by researchers that the koala's main ancestor was the giant Thylacoleo. This was a huge wombat-like mammal that was found throughout the Australian continent around 50,000 years ago. The skulls that have been found of this creature are compared to that of a koala, except they have teeth that are more adapted for eating meat. The Thylacoleo was also part of the Diprotodontia order and was a marsupial. It was also believed to be a very skilled climber, much like koalas now, due to scratch marks that have been discovered on cave walls. It's estimated that koalas have evolved to eat only eucalyptus due to how hot and dry Australia is. The early koalas, tens of thousands of years ago, would have most likely eaten fruit. However, as the climate changed and became drier, this would have no longer been an option, and so they slowly turned to their dearly beloved eucalyptus leaves. Koalas are classified as vulnerable as of right now by the IUCN Red List. As I mentioned at the start, however, they are considered the face of Australian conservation. It's illegal to kill a koala over there, however, very little of the koala's habitat is actually protected, and as a result they are constantly at risk. Urbanisation is a major factor as the trees they live in and eat from are torn down for agriculture and mining. It also brings in domestic animals like dogs and cats, which both attack them, which causes stress and carry diseases. And as we've learnt, koalas are very prone to diseases, sadly. In 2019, there was a huge outbreak of bushfires that broke all throughout the east coast of Australia. This ended with countless koalas burning to death and around 25% of their habitat badly affected. Even the koalas that survived had severe burns on their paws, making it impossible for them to climb unless treated by humans. Although the headlines completely overblew the plight of the koalas around this time, they were not, and are not, functionally extinct. They are still at a notable risk, which is a cause for concern. Despite its amazing, diverse flora and fauna, Australia has the highest rate of mammal extinctions in the entire world. However, people are working tirelessly to protect them, and in spite of their many challenges, koalas are continuing to live on, eating their poisonous leaves and sleeping soundly. For us humans though, we can help them by encouraging and enacting land preservation, and by funding more research and also koala hospitals, which were integral in aiding them during the bushfires. If you're not Australian, this may feel worlds away for you, but there's always something you can do to help. If you have any animals you want me to cover, please comment them below, and also, thank you so much for watching.